Okay, so moving on to the final part of this glossary. Again, this is all from 1999. I found this section particularly interesting, and it's about models of existence. There are two dominant models of existence that shape the interaction and destiny of the human race. These models of existence are the evolution/saviorship model and the transformation/mastership model. Each human is developing their belief system from one or both of these models of existence. The evolution saviorship model is the dominant model that is promulgated by the hierarchy. Its basic tenets are that life evolves through the hierarchy's teacher-student methodology, and that various teachers, saviors, are presented to the human race that enable sub-hierarchies to develop and control information. In so doing, individuals are disempowered and disconnected from their sovereignty. The underlying equation of the evolution saviorship model of existence is human instrument plus hierarchy equals God connection through saviorship. In the case of the transformation mastership model of existence, its principal tenets are that the entity is limitless, deathless and sovereign. All information flows from source intelligence to the entity, and it is therefore the responsibility of the entity to become self-enlightened and self-liberated by attuning itself to source intelligence and detuning itself from the hierarchy. Each becomes their own master, and each transforms from a human being to a sovereign integral within the cradle of time and space. The underlying equation of the transformation mastership model of existence is entity plus source intelligence equals prime creator equality. One of the challenges of the individual is to recognize these two dominant models of existence and integrate them in order to design a synthesis model. The synthesis model is slowly emerging on Terra Earth, and with high probability will ultimately become the dominant model of existence in this universe. It will be the model of existence that is best able to unify consciousness without impinging on the sovereignty of the entity and prime creator. It will allow the entity to be the vibrant container of source intelligence and explore new fields of vibration as a fully conscious outpost of prime creator. Now, when I read that, I thought that was, there you've got in 3 paragraphs, I don't know what, 250 words or something, an almost complete description of all or most of the religious systems which have existed throughout the time that human beings have communicated with some form of language. It's all encapsulated in that description. And I saw a comment on one of the earlier videos that I made that, oh, this all sounds like New Age Lucis Trust or masonic stuff. No, it doesn't. That's nothing like this. This is a concise description which encompasses all of that, all of it, as I see it. And that's why I think this is so valuable, and this particular part here was one of the reasons which motivated me to go to the trouble of making these short videos for you to follow through this process, the very process that's kind of described in these words. These words kind of, to me, help move along that process and initiate that process, and I think therefore they fulfill what is described on the Wingmakers website, which is, I think here, activation tools for the mind and the heart. I think that's exactly what this is. You can make of it what you will. That's the whole point. This is for you to make of it what you will. If you think it's a load of gobbledegook, masonic, Lucis Trust nonsense, that's dangerous, that's entirely up to you. But for me, it's very significant, very significant. I actually, years ago, when I first started getting into the ET stuff, I did communicate with somebody called Ernest, and he was a webmaster. Now I know that he was involved in some of the development of this website, and I'll just scroll through here while I'm talking, and there's various videos and stuff, and there's music on here too. So I think it's worthy of some time exploring this for those that want to explore it. It's not meant to be something to convert you to anything or any belief system or anything like that. I think it is what it claims to be. It's a way of expanding your consciousness and seeing things in a wider and more connected context. But it's entirely up to you how you interpret this. The other thing which I found back in the archive, just to add to some of this, is this slideshow, and this again was, I don't know, from around about the year 2000, which explains how this Wingmaker stuff has come about. I'm going to just click on one here and then skip along through this. I think there's about, how many? 50 slides here or something. Introduction to the Wingmakers project, and you can go through this. This is all in the Internet Archive. It's not currently on their website. At first sight, the Wingmakers material can be a bit overwhelming. There is so much material. Where does one begin? And and then it just kind of gives you an overview of the material. And again, this has been around for 20 years now, so I think that says something as well. It's not just disappeared, after a couple of years of making some money. So bear that in mind. But the particular slide that caught my attention years ago, I had saved this on my computer, was, for example, this, where it specifically mentions the US government and the NSA. And then it says, so this is like on the left we've got the more public things the NSA is now known about. The NSA's existence wasn't disclosed until, I don't know, what was it, 1994 or something? It was used to be called the No Such Agency. And then you get into unacknowledged level 1. So you get the special projects, laboratory, military industrial complex, select private industry. And then you have this thing, the ACIO. Now this is the Alien Contact Intelligence Organization, and I don't know what this 15 is. I'm not sure where that's explained. The ACIO was alleged to be the Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Now this was mentioned by somebody called Dan Morris or Dan Salter. He had two names apparently. He was a Disclosure Project witness. That caught my interest at the time. And then there's this Labyrinth group, which I think was the group that supposedly found this Wingmaker's time capsule or whatever it was, and decoded this material and started to decode some of the Wingmaker's materials and present them. And I'll try and get some of this up in a minute to show you some more. But then it says on, where is it, slide 15, the technology artifacts recovered from the chambers appear to be objects of unknown substance and completely impregnable to the ACIO probes. The artifacts do not play a major role in the story up to the time of creating this presentation, except for one artifact in particular. So we'll just see if we can access that, because this is all again in the web archive. You can see the thing at the top. When the team arrives at the highest point of the spiral pathway, they encounter the last chamber, chamber 23. Aside from another wall painting, the artifact is entirely different from all the others. This artifact is an optical disc, presumably full of interesting data. So that's this where allegedly a lot of this music's come from, and the paintings and stuff have come from there. And this whole artwork as well, it's very unusual. I've not seen anything like it. I don't know who drew it. But it certainly does seem to be have a particular sort of feeling to it, and it does, I think, stir up certain feelings and thoughts when you look at it. Okay, so to give a little bit more background then, I found the introduction to the Wingmakers Story in the Internet Archive, so I'm just going to read through this. Introduction to the Wingmakers time capsule, codenamed the Ancient Arrow Project. Nearly 27 years ago, so this is going to be like 1971. Mysterious artifacts, because this was written in 1997 or thereabouts, or 1998, were found that led to one of the most intriguing scientific and anthropological discoveries ever made. A secret, unacknowledged department of the NSA responsible for extraterrestrial contact and technology assimilation took the discovery into their laboratory for the purposes of their own agenda. The secret organisation is known as the Advanced Contact Intelligence Organisation, the ACIO, so maybe Alien Contact Intelligence Organisation was incorrect, I don't know, and has enjoyed complete anonymity until now. The discovery, referred to by the ACIO as the Ancient Arrow Project, consisted of 23 chambers and connected tunnels hollowed out deep within a huge natural rock structure in a remote canyon of northern New Mexico. I think it's Chaco Canyon. Inside this massive and well-hidden structure were incredible artifacts of a culture that was of indeterminate origins. In each of the 23 chambers were found wall paintings, various alien technologies, and strange encoded hieroglyphs. By most appearances, the discovery was like a natural history museum from an alien race. It became known among the researchers as ETC, or extraterrestrial time capsule. Because of carbon dating analyses, it was initially assumed that this time capsule was left behind by the extraterrestrials that had visited Earth in the 8th century AD. However, it wasn't until 1997 that the encoded language found within the site and its artifacts became accessible to the ACIO. It was then that it was determined that the time capsule was actually designed and built by a future version of humankind who were adept at interactive time travel. They called themselves Wingmakers. One of the scientists from the ACIO involved in developing the translation tables for the Ancient Arrow project defected in December 1997 and has disclosed this secret project to a journalist named Anne. Anne is the author of this website and, under agreement with the aforementioned scientist, has placed these materials on the internet for the purpose of exposing the Wingmakers time capsule to all who want to see, hear and read its poignant and provocative message. There are hundreds of pages of philosophy, photographs, poetry, new physics, music and artifacts inside this site, all derived from the Wingmakers time capsule. This discovery is being introduced in December 1998 to a worldwide audience through the internet. Please treat these materials respectfully and view them with an open mind. It is highly recommended that you read the interview transcripts between Anne and the scientist before you judge the validity of this site and the materials therein. At the very least, read the story. This will give you the background on this important discovery. Additional content will be added to this site as time permits. Anne is very reclusive at this time due to the potential issues involving the ACIO and the NSA. So please be patient for updates and new materials. There is no email address or phone number or to contact anyone affiliated with the development of this site. The administrative and technical contacts for this domain, wingmakers.com, are not affiliated with this site or its content. Please respect their privacy. Thank you. Note from Anne. For those of you visiting this site for the first time, please be patient with the disclosure I've made related the disclosure I've made related to the Wingmakers and their time capsule. This is not an easy story to grasp or tell. You'll need to be both persistent and patient in your review of these materials. It's taken me over 6 months to come to terms with the Wingmakers and what their story is really all about. It's an enormous story, unlike anything I'd ever experienced before, but it's worth the time and effort to investigate it, and if you do, don't be surprised if things in your life take an entirely new perspective. That's what these materials can enable if you spend the time with them. I hope that you do. So I'll just add in the links to the interview transcripts if I can find them here, but for now then I will leave you with those thoughts. Again, make of it what you will. I don't think this is a marketing exercise. Whether the ET thing is true, to me, is less important. It's the consciousness aspects that most interest me. This is the direction I've been moving in for a while and will continue to do so. I've kind of got a bit bored of all the narratives and counter-narratives that have now been springing up, and now the new ones are replacing the old ones because they've run out of gas and stuff. So I'm probably going to be moving more in this sort of direction in the future. I'll see how things go, but for now, thank you for listening and watching, and I will talk to you again soon.